they're going to go 3 wide.
And Andretti Carr moving up here at Mid-Ohio.
Turn number 4, side by side through the corner.
Renus VK and Robert McGinnis, a dead heat at the exit of turn number 2. Side by side, and Oliver Askew scores.
Engines firing, and let's bring in my driver analyst here right now that's going to join me in the booth. Braden Eves from Exclusive Autosport. Braden, last year's Cooper Tires USF 2000 champion. Of course, you would rather be in your race car right now. A pretty rough incident at Indianapolis where you're upside down coming through turn number 11. First, let's start with that. How are you feeling right now? I know everybody's been following on social media. It's good to see you here at the racetrack.
Yeah, it's good to be back here at the racetrack. It was a really scary incident last weekend. I'm really glad to be in the shape that I'm in. I fractured 2 vertebrae in my neck, as well as my skull above my eye, and banged my knees up pretty good. But I'm okay, and it's going to be not too long a recovery, and I think I should be able to get back into a race car before the end of 2020. Not for any races this season,
Indeed,
but for some off-season testing potentially. So I'm really glad and thankful for all the support I've got so far, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Listen, it's the interesting thing. I've followed you through your entire karting career. I've called so many of your big race wins, and of course all last year in USF 2000. One thing about drivers is you guys are a resilient bunch. Number one, talk about your fitness a little bit. I know we're on the warm-up lap. We've got a bit of time, but I got to think that the amount of fitness and your focus on making sure your body was the way it needed to be probably is something that, number one, helped you from not getting more injured than you possibly did and will help with your recovery as well.
Yeah, exactly. Fitness is so important, and us drivers know more than anyone just how physical these cars are. The steering gets extremely heavy, and just the forces that go on your neck. It's just so tough out there. And when we're driving, especially this year, it's crazy how much time we have in such a congested schedule on most of the weekends, where we might have 3 races in the course of 2 days. So it's just so physical. And I'm always training, you know, and it's a little bit of a setback right now, but ultimately I think, you know, I'll be pushing as hard as I can to get back into race shape as soon as I can, and I just got to go through the process of doing what I need to do, what the doctors say, and recovering as quickly as I can, looking after myself, and I think everything will take care of itself on that aspect.
You said it first. Listen to your doctors. Come on, Braden. Listen to your doctor. I know you guys don't want to do that. We're going to go racing, then we're going to come right back to you because I want to get your thoughts on what it takes to win here at Mid-Ohio. Drivers coming out of Thunder Valley now as we get set to go racing. As I had said, it'll be Maurice Gold on the inside, Eduardo Barrichello on the outside. 2 young guns here on the road to Indy. Maurice Gold on the pole position. He will get the punch off coming out of the carousel. We are ready to start race 2 of USF 2000. You see those lines. They've got to wait till they get up to these 2 lines, the 2 RTI flags, before they can punch off. Field looking really good. Green, and a strong start. Maurice Gold right at, I believe, the first flag. He gets on the throttle. He'll lead into turn number 1. Barrichello tucking nicely into the second spot. Cameron Shields, his second season in the program as well. He'll go to P3. But here comes the chaos of turn number 2. Always crazy. 2 wide coming into the downhill. Off-camber keyhole corner. Barrichello trying to hold the outside. Brooks going around the outside of Shields as well. Always waiting for that camera switch. That's Brooks. Oh, over top. Brooks got outside the rumble strips, and you simply can't do that coming out of turn number 2. He got all the way over to the far side. The car kind of high sides a bit, and there's a big bump that launched that car in the air. We'll see what kind of damage potentially could happen here to Christian Brooks as that car launched into the air. It had to be at least 4 feet up front. There's contact between a couple drivers as well. That is one of the D-Force drivers. Might have been Kiko Porto. And I think that actually might have been Porto and Nolan Siegel. We'll have a better look when they come around, but that was the top of turn number 5. A lot of contact there. Brooks able to tuck back in, I think, to 7th position. Here's a replay of Brooks. Look at this. All 4 wheels off, and then, hello, probably 3 feet under the front of the car, came slamming back down. I don't see any wing damage for Christian Brooks in the Exclusive Autosport machine. He'll be lucky if there isn't any. Field now streaming through the carousel for that first time, and here they are coming across the line. We'll give you the top 10 rundown. Gold, your leader. Barrichello goes to 2nd. Shields in 3rd. Christian Rasmussen 4th, Green 5th, Matt Rangarito 6th, Miller 7th, Christian Brooks, who started 4th, slotting into the 8th spot. He will be fired up and ready to move forward. Kiko Porto 9th, and Bogle in 10th. More contact there. Oh, that was Rasmussen, I believe, going at it with, is that Josh Green? I don't know. Contact there. Shields, Cameron Shields and Christian Rasmussen. That was going into the start of the keyhole, and there was contact further back. I guarantee you race control's watching that one. All of this, though, as we take a deep breath, big lock up into the brake zone. You're going off likely there. Let's have that camera switch. And our driver's spinning. Braden.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Rasmussen just got a puncture in that contact with Cameron Shields there. He just went off. He's off into the grass looking to rejoin.
2 races in a row. Christian Rasmussen having terrible luck on the first handful of laps.
I was going to say, why did we bring in Braden Eves? Perfect. There's the driver analyst calling him out. Perfect. Picked it up for me right there. Worth the price of admission. So, yeah, potential puncture there. So you think that was Rasmussen and Shields going at it in turn 2?
Yeah, it was Shields and Rasmussen in turn 2, and then the way his inside front just locked up, or maybe the outside front just locked up and was locked the entire braking zone. It looked like it must have been a puncture
Indeed.
from our point of view.
Tire starts going down and immediately flat spots. And again, that's the championship leader, folks. Again, we'll see what happens when they come back around. And indeed, Rasmussen, this would be his 3rd straight race where he has had trouble and essentially fallen to the tail of the field. This is not something I've seen ever in the 10 years that I've been calling the road to Indy, where we've had a driver come out in such a strong start to the season and then struggle like this. Safety car? Indeed, yeah, full course yellow. We'll see where we have a car. Do we have a car stranded? Indeed, it's Rasmussen still over in turn number 5. We'll pick that up in the next camera shot. Wow, tough one for Rasmussen as that contact. He was pushing hard to get to the inside of Cameron Shields. There he is there, the stricken J. Howard Autosport machine to the inside of turn number 5. You know, Braden, you've had your ups and downs and lots of highs and lots of lows, obviously. Now you won the championship at USF 2000 last year. Give me a little thought about maybe the mindset of Christian Rasmussen behind the wheel right now.
Yeah, it's really tough. You know, I had not quite the points lead that he's had.
Let's talk about that.
But I had a very strong start of the season last year.
Indeed.
Getting the first 4 races with 4 wins, and got a pretty good points lead, and it started to go a little bit downhill towards the mid to late season, and I lost the points lead, and it's just so tough when you have so much momentum in the beginning, and then you just feel like you're falling back, and you have to turn it around, and it's just one of those things that you just have to do everything you can do to reset your mind and not think about it too much and just get after what you have to do on the track.
Well, it's interesting, right? You won so many races to start the season. Really, you have to keep telling yourself that you know that you can win. You have gone on a streak. You could easily do it again.
Yeah, exactly. It's just easy to. Oh, we got a replay coming.
Yeah, let's have a look at the replay here. We're going to have a shot of this. I'm not sure whether or not it'll be turn 2. No, this is going to be turn number 4. You can see him coming down in there, and he had gone so deep into the corner, Braden, as you had said, locked those tires up, potentially a puncture, not able to get the car even turned at all to get back over to turn number 4. Then the minute you're on the grass, you're really a passenger at that point.
A handful of hours ago, Christian Rasmussen had a 50-point lead.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 1 point.
It's 1 point.
Yep.
It's to me to think about this, John. When we rolled into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the triple header last weekend, I think he had a 90-point lead or something like that. In literally 5 races, he now has a 1 point lead over Maurice Gold. It never happened that bad for you. Obviously, Braden, you had that great start, and then in the end, though, you got into the middle of a fantastic battle with Hunter McElroy. It probably turned you more into the driver you are, having to have that fight and scrap for it like you did at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, I can definitely say that from a driving standpoint, I definitely improved the most that I've ever improved in one season. It was just such a hard-fought battle with Hunter McElroy. Him and I just pushed each other so far, and I know that both of us improved so much from it. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate to see for Christian Rasmussen, who came out so strong, but you know, let's see what he can do the second half of the year, and if he can turn it around, more power to him.
And that's it, right? He simply got to turn things up. You can't give up. You got to keep digging, and it could be one of those things that if he ends up winning the championship, still could be a turning point in his career where he was challenged, then turned it back up again. But I'm telling you, this field is so tight. Let's press the reset because we're going to go back to green this time by. So Maurice Gold with the lead, Eduardo Barrichello in second. As he runs on the racetrack, Maurice Gold just 1 point behind Christian Rasmussen. Barrichello just 30 points back. Josh Green in third, Cameron Shields fourth, Matt Roungarito in the top 5. Jack Miller in 6th, Christian Brooks in 7th. We saw his off coming out of turn number 2. He was able to recover to P7. Kiko Porto 8th, Christian Bogle 9th, and Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 10th. Michael D'Orlando's used this to move back up to 12th spot as well. Back at it coming out of the carousel. Maurice Gold gets to do the punch off, and he's underway. So we are back at it again. What a wild opening couple of laps here in USF 2000, the second race of this triple header. Rasmussen coming back out onto the racetrack, I believe, or was that Rasmussen? Yeah, that was Rasmussen, I think, got into pit lane and back out onto the racetrack at the tail of the field. He is 2 laps back, though, so indeed looks like he is that last driver coming back on. They got a new tire on there for Rasmussen. He's going to try to put the laps, as many laps as he can in here, and hope for some more attrition. That's
Shields
all
and
he can do.
Roungarito going side by side.
I like that. That'll be the battle for 4th position. We'll get that camera shot over to turn 4. Indeed, 2x2 coming down into turn number 4, and I think that's a pass from the outside there. Josh Green, that's a good run there as well. Green and, yeah, Josh Green out of P3. Look at the fight here for Jack William Miller getting racy. That's him and Christian Brooks side by side through turn number 7. Brooks able to get by Miller, so move Brooks to P6. And Miller now with Kiko Porto and Christian Bogle right behind him. So it's Gold, Barrichello, Green. There's a good mid-pack shot of the drivers coming out of Thunder Valley as well. Leaders want to stretch away, leave that fight behind them. Josh Green really trying to recover up here as well. 5th place in points coming in. Josh running 3rd. Cameron Shields 4th for D-Force Racing. Roungarito 5th. Brooks 6th. 7th is Miller. 8th Porto. 9th Bogle. 10th is Sundaramurthy. Maurice Gold, the Cape Motorsports driver, that first win of his young Road to Indy career coming at the 3rd race of Indianapolis last Friday. Had a good run of 5 straight podium finishes, fell to 7th in round number 2, then got that win. Second to his teammate Michael D'Orlando in the opening round of the race. And, you know, over the years we keep saying this, once you've got that first victory, the floodgates can open. The confidence is there, the momentum is there. We got a 2-driver breakaway right now. Both the drivers weren't running 1-2. These are the drivers that both won the races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And a little outside run there for Miller. He might lose a spot to Kiko Porto. But Braden, let's ask you the question. What, when you started winning races in USF 2000, how much confidence did that give you moving forward?
Yeah, it just gave me a ton of confidence, especially last year being with Cape Motorsports, which is just such an established team, winning 9 of the past championships in a row. Just gave me so much confidence to know that I could do the same thing that the previous guys have done.
That's it, right? Yeah. If they can do it, I can do it, right?
Yep, exactly.
So Maurice Gold coming out of 14 now. We'll see what kind of more battles we have here. Christian Brooks, as we said, able to get by. And I think another spot, I want to say, yeah, Sundaramurthy able to get by Christian Bogle. That was that fight for 9th and 10th. So Sundaramurthy able to get up into the 9th spot now, only a half a second behind Kiko Porto.
By the way, Simon Sykes spun off at the end of the straightaway on that last lap and fell from 14th all the way back to 20th.
Tough one for Simon Sykes back on the racetrack, 10 seconds behind Max Kaiser, so he'll just keep pushing and get the laps he can in here as well. I'm going to keep looking at the lap times of Christian Brooks and Matt Roungarito. Christian qualified 4th, was one of the top drivers in that opening session, had that off on the opening circuit going on the outside of the curbing on the exit of the downhill turn 2 keyhole, of course, up in the air as we saw from the replay. He now really close to the gearbox of Matt Roungarito. That would be for P5. And I think even crucial in the championship, you look at the fact that how many drivers are going to be able to close up here now in Christian Rasmussen. Gold to within 1 point. Now they're going to start worrying about Maurice Gold, to be honest. If he lays down, you know, he'll get 1 more point leading the most laps if he does do that. So he would be tied at the end of this race with Rasmussen as they run on the racetrack. That's 1 point for Gold. He'll be tied. Who will be next? The 223 for Barrichello, 30 back. Eduardo Barrichello, Maurice Gold, and Christian Brooks then at 184. He's going to make up a lot of time as well. He would be 67 points back. So he's making up time as well. Good lap there for Cameron Shields at 122.72, but Green pretty much matching it, so it doesn't make any ground for him. Really, the top 10 drivers kind of settling in as you see them come to the carousel here now. No real battles on the racetrack, although I think you're going to see Michael D'Orlando start getting a little aggressive with his teammate Kyle Dupel pretty soon to try to go to 11th. With that win, D'Orlando is not going to settle for an 11th place finish.
Brooks and Round Garrido nose to tail heading down the back straightaway. I think Brooks is going to look for that spot. There they go side by side.
Yeah, Brooks thinking about the outside, not quite able to get deep enough into the braking zone to make it happen. Look at the over-under. He is really working on Round Garrido. Christian Brooks, a driver who has gained a ton of experience and confidence over the first half of this USF 2000 season. Of course, mentioned before, coming out of karting, top-level national race winner in the kart program in the junior categories and senior classes. Here's a side-by-side run through turn number 9. Yeah, let's see who's going to hold on to that. That's the 2 Cape cars, I believe, getting by Christian Bogle. I'm not sure if it was Dupel or D'Orlando who were able to get by first. But Christian Brooks moved out of karts and made the jump into the Red Bull Global Rallycross program and then moved into F4 and now finds himself here on the road to Indy. So a lot of experience and different experience for Christian Brooks. Again, that scrap we're watching just outside the top 10. That's Dupel indeed. So Kyle Dupel, the driver, getting pushed from behind by his teammate D'Orlando, able to get by Bogle. I'm not sure yet that, D'Orlando not yet by. So D'Orlando still back in 11th spot. And he's got a bunch of drivers stacking up behind him. Nolan Siegel, Wyatt Prokachik, and Prescott Campbell. Things settling down a little bit. Let's get the opportunity now while we're here. Braden Eaves, I know it's not something that a racer normally wants to do, but man, when you have an incident like you did, you have the medical bills, you have crash damage, everything that hurts on a racing budget. You guys have stepped around and put together a GoFundMe effort to try to see if you can't get some funding to get back behind the wheel of a car. I know that came out a couple of days ago. Race fans always like to support drivers. And the cool factor for me was you start the GoFundMe, which is awesome. Great, let's get this thing going. But then you see Graham Rahal drop $2,500. You see Will Power dropping money. You see Colton Herta and a bunch of people retweeting it and tweeting it. It's great to see the money coming in. You're thinking, man, I'm going to be able to get back. I'm going to go racing again. Because you could have thought, hey, maybe I was done. The money's coming in. It's got to be humbling, though, as a race car driver to see some people like that come to the forefront to step up.
Yeah, it's just so special. I mean, racing is just such a tight-knit community, and it just feels like everyone's got each other's back, especially right now for me. It just feels like, people that I've looked at as some of my closest competitors even supporting. Just so nice to see, and just so incredible to get the support that I've had. I truly can't be more thankful for, everything with the GoFundMe and even just everyone reaching out to support me, giving their kind words. But yeah, the GoFundMe is help get Braden back on track.
That's good.
It's doing very well so far. If anyone listening would like to support, by no means feel obligated, but but I would love any support and appreciate it all so much. So yeah, it's going very well so far, and
yeah, all you got to do is go to look at your Twitter page, Braden Eaves. I'll share it out on Road to Indy Insider as well. I'm pretty sure the series has. Go to Exclusive Autosports Twitter page. The links to the GoFundMe are there. And I know they're unnamed, but I'm also told, and I will keep it quiet, we won't say who it is, but even some of your competition, your teams that you raced against, put some money in as well, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, really cool to see.
So, okay, let's go back and use you as an analyst again, because it's a half a second lead for Maurice Gold. You've been here in USF 2000. You've had a lead like this. What do you as a driver do to settle in and get in that groove and not make the mistake? Does it almost become automatic where you get on kind of automatic pilot to a certain extent?
Well, first place is the best place to be for sure, and it's almost like a qualifying session when you're in first place. You just focus on hitting your marks. Yep. Getting the lap times, whereas if you're in second or third, you might not necessarily be focused on the same exact things. You're more focused on maybe beating them on the brakes, getting that little edge in a couple of corners just to gain and be in the slipstream and all that. So for me, first place is definitely the easiest spot to be on the track. You just have to not make too many mistakes, and plus you have the aero wash that's helping hold them back a little bit.
See, I get nervous. When I'm leading a race, I get super nervous. I don't know why. I just, I don't know. I think I overdrive it a little bit. Even though I know we're in a draft pack, I always seem to overdrive. I don't know why. Again, that's why I'm in the box here, and you're the analyst, and I'm the commentator. Otherwise, I'd be on the other side of it, I think. Now, you talk about being out front like that, and every time you come by, are you getting the splits every time? Or do you want the splits every time to the guy behind you every time you come by pit lane?
To be honest, I just like peace and quiet when I'm on the track. I just like to not think too much and just kind of drive out there.
Again, so he gets in the Zen mode. I like that. All right, folks, we are getting our way into the halfway point of this right now. 9 laps remaining. It's a 20-lap race. 9 laps to go. Maurice Gold leading by a half a second over Eduardo Barrichello. If Braden is indeed correct, he's in the Zen mode right now and just knocking out the laps. 121.144 last time by, and we'll do that. We'll have a look at Gold and see what kind of consistency he has. Battles on the racetrack we should probably key on as we're seeing them come through turn number 2 right now is the one that's just come out of 2. There's really a battle right now for 5th and a battle for 7th as well. So Christian Brooks and Matt Round-Garrido in the fight for 5th. Kiko Porto putting a lot of pressure on Jack William Miller as well for 7th position. Josh Green looking pretty good. He's about a second behind Barrichello. Cameron Shields behind him by about 3 car, maybe 2 car lengths there as you saw them coming through. That's 7th, 8th, 9th. There's 10th and 11th together here. That is Sundar Murthy and Michael D'Orlando. And D'Orlando most definitely digging in. He was second in the points going to Indianapolis, but had some trouble there. In the third race, when Christian Rasmussen had trouble getting rolling at the start of the green, D'Orlando nowhere to go, plowed into the back of him as he was obviously punching off, getting ready to start the race. Damage to the wing, had to come to pit lane, and D'Orlando ends up finishing in 19th position. He comes back with a huge race win in the opening round here at Mid-Ohio, but the tough qualifying run put him so far back in the pack here for race 2. He's trying to get himself back forward. He's got 185 points to Rasmussen's 253 right now, so again, not that bad for him. He would only be 68 points back, and John, that's doable. 68 points with all the races we have still. 1 here, 3 in New Jersey, and then 2 at St. Petersburg. Still 6 races to go. 68 points. You can come back in 1 or 2 races on that one.
Exactly. And I had another question for Braden. Braden, these races are relatively short. Is tire management something you got to be aware of? Do you have to keep the tires under you, or can you pretty much flog it as hard as you need to?
Honestly, tire wear doesn't play into it too much. You definitely want to look after your tires. You don't want to really beat them up too hard, but as long as you have common sense out there and don't completely obliterate them, then the tires will usually hold up. The Cooper tire is a great tire and lasts a long time, especially in these races. A lot of the fast laps come towards the end of the races. So, yeah, not crazy tire conservation, but definitely you have to look after them.
And I got one more point for our fans here at Mid-Ohio. If you didn't already know this, Braden Eves is a neighbor of Graham Rahal. He lives in New Albany, so local boy makes good, and it would be a great opportunity for you to jump on that GoFundMe page.
Well, and that's the thing too. If you're an Ohio crew, you've got Mike Shank, of course, a big supporter of Braden as well. When eventually Graham Rahal gets old and we have to put him out to pasture, right? There's got to be another Ohio superstar to come and take his spot at Rahal Letterman Lanigan.
Yep.
New Albany. We don't even have to change where he's from.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So there you go, folks. This guy's the future star of Ohio.
Of course, Zach Veach is vying for that too.
Yeah, that's true. He's in Stockdale though. He's not in. He's not in New Albany.
Not in Columbus. Yeah.
And he's already in the IndyCar program. We're talking about the future. But Zach will be there for a long time as well. But yeah, a lot of Mid-Ohio home to a lot of guys that are very excited to be here. Of course, Graham, Zach, Michael Shank as well. With Jack Harvey, they would of course all love to win here. And that's one of the things about that Graham has said. It's the Indy 500 is the one he wants to win, and then he wants to win at Mid-Ohio. Yeah, there's the battle again. Watching this fight again between Christian Brooks. Oh, that's a driver's gone off. That could be, I think that might be either D'Orlando or Dupel, who had trouble coming through 4. One of the Cape Motorsports drivers potentially losing the rear coming out of that corner. Not quite sure who that was at this point here. One interesting thing, and we'll see what happens here. So, Braden, you can talk about this. We've got still 7 laps to go. We're watching some battles. Christian Rasmussen had the issue. Guess what he did? No, here's the driver that's going on.
Dupel.
That is Dupel. So Kyle Dupel has gone off, and he is going to high center himself. Oh, he's high centered himself, and his teammate Gold is leading by 0.4 of a second. This could be a full course yellow. We may go full course yellow here if Dupel not able to back up off, and that would potentially hurt his teammate Maurice Gold with the lead. 6 laps to go. They'd be able to get going very quickly, but that's going to allow Barrichello to close right back in and potentially get a shot at taking the race win. Kyle Dupel trying to get back on the racetrack after the spin in turn number 4. Have not seen full course yellow coming out here at start finish, whether or not he was able to back up. It's just a local yellow in the corner now for Duppel, who is high-centered. I don't know that they'll hold that for 5 laps. Him sitting right there on the inside of the racetrack as drivers, again, trying to battle so much. You don't want to have a waving yellow in turn number 4, the only passing opportunity on the racetrack through the entire end of the event.
The field's not too terribly strung out, so there could be a possibility they could do a hot pull. They could bring one of the safety trucks in, pull him off the curbing so he can continue. But we'll see.
Wow.
So far, they have not decided to go for a safety car.
So we are still green right now. Where I was going with this was the fact that Christian Rasmussen, Braden, when he came into pit lane after the issue, put on fresh tires as well. I think he may have the fast lap of the race, which would give him the pole for race number 1, because it's race 3 gets set by the grid here, race number 2. So Christian Rasmussen, good call by the team to potentially go to fresh rubber here, so he's able to put down a good lap. I'm not sure. I'll pull up my app. I don't see it right now here on what we're seeing here on live timing. I'm going to have a little look at the app as well to see whether or not he's the fastest driver. But, hey, that's a solid call. Get out there with fresh rubber. Try to start on pole. I'm sure you do that, would you not?
Safety car.
I haven't got a chance to this season.
No, you haven't this season.
But a number of drivers have done that when we have the triple header format, because the fast lap in race 2 sets the grid for race 3, and a number of drivers have done that. Looks like he has a fast lap.
Yeah,
so.
121.5. There's full course. A 121.522, indeed fast lap right now for Christian Rasmussen. He would have the pole position for round number 3. But again, Kyle Duppel trying to get back on the racetrack. High centers himself in the front of the curbing, coming through turn number 6. And his teammate Maurice Gold, who had a lead, sees that disappear. This is not going to be a long yellow, because they'll likely be able to just kind of drag him off there and get him back on the racetrack and refired. It's going to allow Simon Sykes to get back to the tail of the field for a couple of drivers. It's going to tighten everybody up and give everybody another chance for sure.
Exactly. They've already got the tow rope hooked up, so once the field goes by, they'll be able to tug him over that curb and get this back underway.
So you got to expect that we will very likely go green again next time by. We have 15 laps in the books. They'll put lap 16 in. It'll be 4 to go when we come back around. When they come back, if we go green, 3 laps potentially for Maurice Gold. This really sets up a chance for Barrichello to go at Gold, for Green to go at Barrichello, for Christian Brooks to go at Round Garrido once again. D'Orlando's going to try to see if he can't get Sundaramurthy to move himself forward.
Porto and Miller have been nose to tail too, so that could go.
Here's what else it does is it gives Rasmussen potentially another spot.
Yeah.
Rasmussen's going to potentially be able to get ahead of Duppel indeed, so that might give him another point. Maurice Gold just now here. Braden, I've got you here. Perfect example of how to use your driver analyst. What do you do as a driver right now? You've just been leading at a half a second. You're 5 laps away from winning your second Road to Indy event. What do you do mindset-wise? What are you saying to yourself in the race car?
For me, you just kind of reset your head. You say, I'm in the hot seat right now. I don't need to make anything crazy happen. I just have to hold on to what I have. I got to get a really good restart, defend in those first couple of corners if you have to, and if not, then just try to focus on getting good exits and making it so that your car is as hard to pass as possible.
And tell me how different the race car is from as it was running at speed. And in a couple laps like this, are the Cooper tires going to cool down enough where you're going to have to warm them back up? Is the car going to be a little bit loose or a little sketchy in the opening lap?
Yeah, it's not too long of a yellow, so it shouldn't be too bad, but definitely the tires are going to be a little bit cooler, so the first lap is going to be a little bit more like the start of the race where everyone's a little bit on colder tires, and the people that do a better job of keeping their tires up to temp are going to be a little bit quicker on that first lap.
Well, we definitely pressed the reset button on this race here. Maurice Gold, Eduardo Barrichello, and Josh Green, 1, 2, 3. Out of the top 5, the only 2 drivers who have not yet tasted victory here in the Road to Indy, Josh Green, P3, and Matt Round Garrido, P5. Throw Christian Brooks in there as well in the 6th position. We got ourselves a battle, looking to see whether or not we potentially have. I think we're probably going to go back to green this time by. It'll be 3 laps remaining. We get back around. Maurice Gold will handle the restart. He's back on it as we are rolling. And again, Barrichello with the green flag flying up on the gearbox of Maurice Gold. Here comes the potential for a shot in turn number 2. If Gold goes to the bottom, it'll be an outside run. Yeah, here goes Gold. Defensive move to the inside. Barrichello going to try to get the big run around the outside. Let's see what happens here. A little push on mid-corner for Jack Miller trying to go on Brooks, so he's not going to be able to fight for P6. Here comes the run down out of turn number 2. Kink turn 3 into 4. And does Barrichello throw it in on Maurice Gold. We'll see what happens. Coming down into the corner. Gold's going to block to the inside. Barrichello's going to roll around the outside. Does he have it coming in side by side? Good job for Gold to give him enough room. It'll give him the inside into turn 6, stacking everybody else up behind him. Moving up as well is Cameron Shields. Brooks not able to take advantage to pounce on Round Garrido. I think all the drivers in their mindset that they can't throw it away, knowing that Rasmussen's dead last. It's kind of take what you can get to a certain extent here. Everybody's moving forward. You don't want to be the guy that makes the mistake, goes to the tail of the field, and doesn't capitalize on what happened to Rasmussen. You've got to be smart here as well. Lots more racing to go. 2 to go this time by in terms of laps in this 20-lap contest, round 2 for USF 2000 here in Mid-Ohio. A 4-car length lead. Driver into pit lane. I think that might have been Simon Sykes. Indeed, Sykes into pit lane. This may give Rasmussen another spot. Sykes getting back out onto the racetrack. He's just rolling right now. Look at this. Block to the inside for Round Garrido as Brooks trying to get a good run on him as well. Behind them, Miller 7th, Porto 8th, Sundermurthy 9th, and D'Orlando 10th. Nolan Siegel 3rd in the opening round. He's worked his way up to 11th. Big run down the straightaway again. They're only going to do it one more time. White flag will fly next time by. Brooks trying the outside around Garrido. Can't quite get it to stick. Driver off! That is Josh Green. Green has gone off the end of the straightaway into China Beach. So drop Green from P number 3 as he has gone off the racetrack. Tough one for Josh Green. That moves Shields to 3rd. Round Garrido to 4th. Brooks and he battling it out for position though as Green is off. I don't know that we'll go yellow now with him that far off the racetrack. One more lap remaining. They'll look to see the white flag this next time by as all the drivers filing into Thunder Valley. Tough one for Josh Green. Did not see what ended to happen, transpired for him to go off the racetrack like that, but indeed he is off and beached. And the exit of turn number 4. Brooks has gone to P4. Christian Brooks able to get around Matt Round Garrido. So move Brooks to the 4th spot. Garrido to 5th. Miller 6th. 7th, Sundermurthy. 8th, 9th, 10th, D'Orlando, Porto, and Siegel. Big for all these drivers and rough for Christian Rasmussen to see all these guys moving up. Good fight further back between as well Jack William Miller and Yuvan Sundermurthy. They're going to scrap it out here as well, coming out a turn. Oh, Yuvan Sundermurthy goes 4 wheels off. He almost tosses it away. He's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 spots as that's going to move Michael D'Orlando. Somehow gets gifted up into 7th. Down to 4th for the last time. Christian Brooks trying to hold off a recharge here from Round Garrido. I can tell you Josh Green not happy with the situation over in China Beach. But Maurice Gold tried to grab his 2nd win. 2 points behind. He would be 253 to 251 from Christian Rasmussen. This championship is a whole new ball game. And bring Christian Brooks into it as well as Eduardo Barrichello.
D'Orlando on Miller.
Indeed, final circuit, final corner here, as we will see the checkered flag out of the final corner, and then Maurice Gold is now a 2-time winner of the Road to Indy. He wins at Mid-Ohio. Maurice Gold, the victor of race number 2. Eduardo Barrichello 2nd, Cameron Shields in 3rd. Christian Brooks goes from 4th to 8th, back to 4th. A good late pass of Matt Round Garrido. He ends up finishing P5. Jack William Miller up to 6th, D'Orlando 7th, Kiko Porto 8th, Nolan Siegel 9th, and Prescott Campbell up into the top 10. Good run for Prescott in the end to get into the top 10. Bogle finishes 11th, Prokopchik 12th, Sarche in 13th, Sundermurthy 14th, Myers 15th, Pearson 16th, Kaiser 17th. Last driver on the lead lap, Simon Sykes losing a lap. He finishes 18th, Josh Green 19th, and Christian Rasmussen coming home in 20th, blowing open the championship. Braden Eves, thank you so much for joining me here. I do appreciate it. A lot of great insight.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Rob.
Once again, folks, Braden Eves, that GoFundMe page. Have a look at my Road to Indy Insider, exclusive auto sport. Lots of ways to see it on Twitter. If you want to support a young driver trying to get back on track after an incident in Indianapolis, the GoFundMe page, the absolute best way to do it. Maurice Gold, though, tremendous win for him. 0.3 of a second, the victory over Eduardo Barrichello. Cameron Shields on the podium for D-Force Racing as well. Christian Brooks back to 4th. He's most definitely in the championship fight as well, backed by just 65 points now for Christian Brooks. 94 coming into the weekend. It's now 65. Put the rookie driver in the fight for the championship as well. But a great run for Maurice Gold. Those drivers working their way in here, and then we'll head to Tatis Victory Lane.
Maurice Gold, win number 2 here on the road to Indy. 2020 shaping up to Prix, a pretty good season for you. Tell me about that race. Tough track conditions. It's always hard to find grip here. What is working for you guys at Cape Motorsports right now?
Yeah, just the team has given me a great car. We've had great success in qualifying to give us a great starting spot here. Like you said, it's so hard to pass. So just really good start. Came out first and was just able to hang on.
What's it like here on the road to Indy now that you're winning? Does it change now that you're on the top of the podium, or is it still the same world as it always was?
No, it definitely changes. A lot more pressure, a lot more attention on you, and it just feels a lot more real. Like, I'm fighting with, the best drivers in the world for the lead, for the opportunity to race Indy cars. So it's really special to be able to fight up at the front with everyone.
Well, that, and hopefully you're having fun, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, always fun. There's always fun here.
All right, Maurice Gold, win number 2 so far this season. You get a chance to do it tomorrow. How do you feel about going for win number 3?
Yeah, feels great. I don't know where we start, but hopefully we can get a good start and hopefully bring home number 3.